does a really good job from an acceleration perspective. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, we're gonna be going over an E-pace 300 Sport. First and foremost though, a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover / Jaguar here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this E-pace. Check out their inventory in the link below. Let's get into the video. Under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 21 around town and then 26 on the highway, with power outputs being 296 horsepower and then 295 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go to the front end of the E-pace. So this pretty much just looks like a smaller version of the F-pace, but they've kind of changed things up a little bit. So notice we've got the two really nice body lines there on either side of the hood, and then notice that the headlights are kind of a little bit larger in terms of the look and overall proportion to the rest of the SUV to kind of give it that different aesthetic. But notice we still get the LED accent lights, which look really good, and you've got the LED lights for the headlights themselves. Parking sensors all along the front with the Jaguar logo in the center, and then notice we got a camera just up above that. And yeah, other than that, that is everything for the front end. Coming around the side here, we've got two 45mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And then they've gone for a fully blacked out design on the wheels themselves. I love this design on this particular wheel. It goes with the overall theme of the car, as you guys will see when we kind of step back, but I just think it looks really good up close. And then notice that the fender flare has been blacked out. We've got a parking sensor there on the side, and then we've got this blacked out accent piece right there. The bottom of the mirror is also blacked out, so are the rails at the top, and then also around the windows, so it all kind of accents the silver paint on this particular E-pace very nicely. Now let's pop here into the back of the E-pace. So first off, notice we've got the covering up here. You got all the goodies that come with it, brand new, and then we've got the floor mats and everything down here, and you've got the rubber covering as well. But in terms of storage space, for being a smaller size SUV, it's right where it needs to be. And then also, I like this right here on either side. I think that looks really good. And then when we want to close it all up, just press that button and she'll pop right back down. Now let's go over the back end, and this is where it looks most like an F-pace. So if you see this from the back end, you might mistake it for an F-pace. First off, I love the LED lights. They look very crisp, very sharp, and yeah, just overall, just a really nice aesthetic. And then notice we've got the parking sensors here on the bottom, and then you've got the circular coverings over the exhaust tips. We have our 300 Sport badge on the other side, which is in yellow coloration, then the E-pace badge, which is all blacked out. And other than that, there's one more look at the back. Here's the door panel in the back. So notice we've got the cloth trim here on the side, and then we've got the leather just down below. I love the look of the speaker and then the metallic trim around it. And then here are the seats in the back. So you've got really nice stitching, really nice leather all throughout, perforated leather there in the center portion. And then we've got the heated seats here. We've got some vents as well. A bunch of USBs there at the bottom. And well, of course, let's pop in for a second. You can see the legroom, headroom, and yeah, it's everything here. So let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. So again, we've got the really nice cloth trim here with all the leather down below and the stitching that goes across the window controls, memory seats over there, and then notice we've got this for the Meridian sound system. And then here are the seats at the front. So notice we've got all the leather and stitching all throughout, perforated leather there in the center portion. All of our adjustments are on the side of the seat with our Jaguar plaque. Pedal layout down below. Got that for the hood latch release. Got this for the trunk just up above. And then look at those paddles, they're beautiful. And there's one more look before we pop in. Here's our steering wheel in the E-pace. So we've got really nice leather all around the steering wheel, and notice how they've got the different stitching cuts all throughout. Just looks cool from a design perspective. And then we've got our cruise control on this side. We've got our voice command phone controls on the other side. Got those beautiful paddles again, then you've got the stock for the lights, got the stock for the windshield wiper on the other side, and yeah, that's all for the steering wheel. Looks nice, feels nice. Now here's the center gauge cluster. First off, we've got a couple different menus we can scroll through here with the center screen itself. You just press the button on the left side of the steering wheel, and then it'll let you basically go through all that. And then aside from that, we do have the drive modes, which we can scroll through here. So we've got a few different drive modes to actually go through. We've got our Comfort, Eco, we've got our 80 SR, which is kind of like your inclement weather, and then your off-road one. Then we've got our dynamic. My favorite's dynamic because it makes the gauge cluster all red and aggressive. But yeah, that's everything for the drive modes. Here's the center infotainment system. First off, if we pop it into reverse, we've got the backup camera. It'll pop up with trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel, and then you've got the other viewpoints here. And then when we pop it into drive, pops open with the different camera viewpoints depending. It'll normally do the front camera, but if you press these, then it'll actually change which viewpoint it shows. But yeah, overall from a camera perspective, it's really solid. If you guys are wondering, these outside ones give you a 3D view on it. So yeah, really good. Now, as for the rest of the infotainment system, response time on the screen is really good. And then notice you've got all these different menus. So for example, we can go into the seats and we can adjust everything with that. You do have heated and cooled seats here, which is definitely a nice feature. But yeah, it's a responsive touchscreen, it's easy to use, and then also it does have the low traction launch just like the Land Rovers. And then look, you've got your all surface information, which is pretty interesting that it'll show you all of that. But yeah, that's everything for the center screen. Got the climate controls down here, which you guys know I love. So push in, and you've got the seats, so I can throw on the air conditioned seat. Pull for the fan speed, and then just the regular mode is the actual temperature itself. And then these buttons definitely have a nice feel to them when you press them in terms of the feedback on them. So we've got our wireless phone charger here, and they've got that little charging port, and then off-road cruise control, auto stop start. We've got our stability control, and then our drive mode select, the shifter for that 9-speed automatic. Got your volume control, and then you've got the nice stitching that goes all over, goes onto the dash, and everything. Definitely looks nice. Couple cup holders right here, and then we've got the center console with some USBs and more storage space. And also, I like this pattern. The pattern on the rubber looks nice. Now, popping over here, we do have a regular glove box. It's all lined with felts. And then finishing things off here at the very top, we do have a full panoramic sunroof. And then notice that we have a suede headliner, which is another nice touch. Definitely makes this feel nicer, and it's also on the pillars as well. Just, I don't know, makes the interior feel more upscale, and I like it. Now here's our window sticker on the E-pace 300 Sport. Feel free to freeze the frame so you can read through all of the standard equipment. Then we've got our optional equipment over here. So notice the base MSRP, $49,995. And then after all options, we've got our total price here, $62,560. Let's take her out and see how she drives. Let's talk about visibility before we set off, so you guys can see visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors, they do have blind spot monitoring. And then here's throughout the rest of the rear, and let's set off. So we are setting off here in the E-pace, and first off, let's talk about the road noise and the ride quality. So first off, from a ride quality perspective, does great as an entry-level luxury SUV, and that's really what this is, right? This is the entry level into the Jaguar brand from the SUV perspective. Does a really good job. I mean, going over these roads, obviously we have a bunch of unevenness with the pavement and everything, and right, feels great. And then aside from that, in terms of the noise, I rate it at average. It's not any quieter or any louder compared to other SUVs in this segment. It's right where it needs to be. And then the response is actually pretty good with the throttle and everything. Even though this is just a little 2-liter 4-cylinder, they've done a good job in terms of making it a responsive 2-liter 4-cylinder. And then aside from that, brakes also really good. And then just, I guess, sitting here in the cabin, overall ambiance definitely feels nice. It feels like you're in a nice place. The thing I think is interesting is the cloth trim. A lot of luxury manufacturers are going towards using cloth trim in the interior. I think it's just to kind of break things up stylistically. Instead of having like a sea of leather, you have some leather mixed with the cloth, again, so that things are broken up just a little bit more. So we're gonna get up and move again. I am in the dynamic mode. Definitely do feel a difference in the response when you pop over into the dynamic mode, again with that 9-speed automatic transmission. And take a turn here and kind of see how the handling is. And this road is definitely on the bumpier side, so we'll also get to see kind of how the suspension does. Ooh. Definitely quick. You do get quite a bit of turbo lag, but that's kind of a characteristic of these smaller displacement turbocharged engines, is they definitely do feel laggier and less responsive compared to a larger sized engine, but doesn't mean it's slow. So let's get up and get our full-blown acceleration here. Yeah, it does a really good job from an acceleration perspective. Again, you've heard the power figures, right around 300 horsepower roughly, which is a lot for a 2-liter 4-cylinder. But aside from that, let's get into summing things up here with this E-pace. So first off, interior wise, I feel like it's a really nice place to be. The seats are comfortable, all of your touch points are nice, the paddle shifter is included, the stalks feel nice, the shifter feels nice, all the controls, everything just feels nice that you're going to touch on a regular basis. And then aside from that, space is great here in the interior, really comfortable. And then exterior wise, it just looks like an F-Pace from the back end, and then the front end it looks a little bit different. So yeah, it's just looks like another Jaguar SUV basically. And then aside from that, in terms of the driving and everything, it drives like an entry-level luxury SUV. It hits all the key points that it needs to, and does have a sportier side to it. Definitely has a decently quick acceleration. The transmission's very responsive, and so overall, as an entry point into Jaguar, it's a really solid offering. And I mean, it gives you a bunch of nice luxury amenities. And so if you're kind of, again, just wanting, again, the entry into the Jaguar brand, and you don't really care about having the crazy performance that some of the other models have, and you do want something that's a little bit of a smaller size, then I would definitely check out this E-Pace. It is for sure worth a look. Now that's going to sum things up for our video on this 2021 Jaguar E-Pace. And again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Land Rover / Jaguar here in downtown Salt Lake for giving me some time with this E-Pace. Check out the inventory in the link below. I'll see all of you in the next video.